Hello, BookTube. I've got a mail haul for you on this humid morning. It's one of those clouds of weather we're having here where it's not only hot, but it's also swampishly humid, so that your your bodily ooze doesn't have anywhere to go. It doesn't evaporate. It just stays with you. So you get up and peel yourself off any surface that you're on. It's uh, it's very dispiriting weather. I feel hesitant to complain about it since a lot of the rest of the world is just charbroiling, just record-breaking triple-digit temperatures and we're not here in Boston, but still, it gets to me. And I have a mail haul, and my Steve Spider sense isn't tingling about anything, and I don't know if that's because it's accurate and there are duds here, or if I'm just wishing it were the air were drier. So I guess we'll find out which of those is the case. We'll start with this one here. Uh, this is okay. This comes from All Things Literary, uh, which I've never heard of, and this is by Matthew Landsberg. Outside is the Ocean. Huh. Uh, okay. Um, okay, it has only blurbs on the back. It won the 2017 Iowa Short Fiction Award, but it has only blurbs on the back. It doesn't actually tell me anything, so maybe the pub sheet will, although what does a customer do? They're not going to get a pub sheet. Let's see here. Okay, good. Yes, 3 days after her 20th birthday, a young woman who grew up in Germany during World War II crosses the Atlantic to start a new life. Outside is the Ocean traces Heiki's struggle to find love and happiness in America. Um, Outside is the Ocean is about a mother and her gay son who spend their lives searching for a sense of belonging that neither is able to find. Ironically, this turns out to be one of the few traits they share in common. Okay. All right, and the author has won lots of prizes. So this is All Things Literary. Sent me this. Okay. Oh, but they're a publicity firm. The people who actually do the book are the University of Iowa Press. Okay. And I think I know why. I think that it's because I requested a book of theirs a little while ago, and I read it and I really liked it. And I'm blanking on the title because it's so humid. But I will try to remember the title and let you know. Uh, but anyway, the book comes with a track record and a good track record, so we'll give it a try. Uh, let's see, what is this next one? Oh my! This is the Abu Dhabi Bar Mitzvah. Fear and Love in the Modern Middle East by Adam Valen Levinson, who is a multimedia backpack journalist and a travel writer. Okay, armed only with college Arabic and restless curiosity, our author set out to learn about the world 9/11 made us fear. From a base in globalized and sterilized Abu Dhabi. It wasn't quite sterilized the last time I was there, but that was a long time ago. Uh, he set out to lunch in Taliban territory in Afghanistan, travels under the watchful eye of Aleppo's secret police, risks shipwreck en route to Somalia, investigates Yazidi beliefs in a sacred cave, cliff dives in Oman, celebrates New Year's Eve in Tahrir Square, and at every turn discovers a place that matches not at all with its reputation. Huh, okay. So this comes out in November. I think it's considering that one of my employers is based in Abu Dhabi. I think there's a chance that I can get a review, I can place a review with them. So that would be good. Let's see, what is this next one? Thin little thing. What is this? Oh, okay, good. I requested this. No pub sheet. This is by David Gushy, and it is Still Christian, following Jesus out of American evangelicalism. Again, no blurb on the back, just or no description on the back, just blurbs. And no pub sheet either. So I am now in the position of a customer who is looking at this on the bookstore table and just figuring, well, I don't know who these people are. I'd rather hear about the book from the publisher than hear about it from people who may not even have read it. Uh, do any of these blurbs tell me what this book is about? No. Okay. Well, I read the online descriptions of it, and that's what it is about. It's about trying to find a reasonable Christian faith outside of the rampant evangelicalism that is so powerful here in America. Science denying, hate spewing evangelicalism. What do you do? What do you do if you're a small-town Christian and that is the Christianity that you have? That's the only brand you have on offer. What do you do if that's the case? What do you do if you go to church in Paducah or wherever and there are 200 people in the audience and it's a small town and the pastor gets up at the lectern, starts talking about, Sunday services and a few miscellaneous bulletins, then launches into his sermon, which is all about loving your fellow man, because your fellow man is embodied in Jesus Christ, and then launches off on a short but passionate addendum about how the earth is 6,000 years old and was created in 6 24-hour days. Every single person in the audience has a cell phone in their pocket. And you're sitting there in the 10th row, and everybody else is going, praise be, praise be. And you're sitting there saying, the man at the lectern has interrupted his otherwise good homily about Christian ethics to talk about garden fairies in a completely serious tone of voice. He's compelling the agreement of his audience. Do I have to agree with him? And if I do, if I don't agree with him, if I say, this is ridiculous, why are you wasting our time with this 4th century nonsense, am I still a Christian? If he's my pastor and I disagree with him? It's a very fruitful subject. I'm surprised there aren't more Christian memoirs like it. I'm surprised and disappointed because it means that most Christians are perfectly okay with that sort of thing. And of course, that aligns with polling data. Most of the recent polling data done in the American quote-unquote Bible Belt is unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. The number of people, according to a lot of recent polling data, maybe not all of it, maybe it's not accurate, but according to a lot of it, fewer people in the American West and Southwest believe in Newtonian-based physics than did 300 years ago. The level of scientific literacy and scientific acceptance in places like southern Arkansas or Kentucky or West Virginia, if you believe the polling data, the level of scientific acceptance in those places is as low as it's ever been in the time that science has been around. I don't know. I saw that happening. I've seen this as a movement. I've seen it happening. And even when it was just beginning, I was telling Christian friends of mine, for evangelical Christian, or new wave Billy Graham fundamentalist Christianity to hitch its wagon to science denial is a bad idea. Of course, it's a social movement, so it wasn't it was any one person's discrete choice. Still a bad idea, because you're young. You're going to lose your young people because they're not going to church and then going to work in the fields and then coming home, having some fresh made cider and going to bed at 8:30. They have phones in their pockets. They have access to the entire world. They know perfectly well. Anyway, this next one comes out in late July here in America. It's the finished copy of Fierce Kingdom by Jen Phillips, who is the award-winning author of Well and Be Mine and Come In and Cover Me. And she lives in Birmingham, Alabama with her family. This is another book about parenting, if I remember correctly. So we're kind of a theme here. Being a parent means being prepared for any and all situations, from making sure there are enough snack packs and water to make it through the afternoon, to scouting the closest exit in case you need to make a quick getaway. Yet what if these mundane tasks end up becoming life-saving strategy? In this gripping new novel, a woman's routine trip to the zoo with her son becomes an electrifying race to safety driven by the primal power of motherhood. And this is a book I've talked about on this channel before. I mentioned it when I got the advanced copy. The, the premise is just killer simple. Uh, what do you do if you're trapped in a zoo? And, and it goes on from there. I mean, it does a lot of other things. I kind of liked it. And this is the finished copy. I was kind of hoping against hope that the cover design would be better in the finished copy, but no. Well, that's all right though. That's all right. When the made-up stories, you have to concentrate on the story as well. Don't forget that. So let's move on here. So far, it's not the humidity. So far, the lack of Steve's cider sense has been accurate. That could change. Let's see here. Well, it could change. It's not likely to, but it could. This next one is Good Me, Bad Me by Ali Land. I can't really make that. It's a tureen green turtle soup cover. Is that an eye? I think there's a bunch of smudge. It's a color that causes revulsion. No one likes this color, and just in case you might maybe like the soup tureen color in the background, there's also pea yellow lettering. You sure you don't want to look more at it? Okay, so Good Me, Bad Me. Again, no description on the back, just blurbs. So if this is a pattern, what does that pattern say? If it's a pattern, the pattern says that there's a decision on the part of publishers that says, the reading public, you're too stupid to need a description. If you like the look of it, just buy it. Just buy it anyway. You can't possibly like the look of it, so just buy it anyway. You don't need to know what it's about. Again, the public is not going to get a pub sheet, but I have one, so let's see if it tells me anything at all about the book. Let's see here. Many hope to escape their past and get out from behind their parents' shadow. For 15-year-old Millie, it's quite literally a matter of life and death, even if her own life isn't the one at stake. Her mother is a serial killer. After turning her into the police, Millie is given a new home, a new family, and a new identity, while she waits to testify at her mother's trial. Haunted by her own past and burdened with guilt, Millie's new foster home is not burdened by Millie's past or burdened with guilt. Millie is. Millie's new foster home doesn't prove to be the safe haven she was hoping for. Good Me, Bad Me by Ali Land is a thriller exploring the psychological depths of one young girl torn inside between the good person she wants to be and the bad person she fears she was born to be. Bet they argue with each other. The good me and the bad me. I bet they do. And I bet the good me is all good. And the bad me is all bad. And I bet they argue with each other. Because, of course, if you're all good and all bad, you would fight with each other. Are you all good or all bad? Do you know anybody who's all good or all bad? Was Adolf Hitler all bad? His dog would tell you otherwise. And you people, some of you, tease me about mocking the made-up stories. Her mother's a serial killer. She turns her into the police. She goes into foster care under an assumed identity. She's good me and a bad me constantly warring with each other, and her foster home is not safe. Can you guess why? Take a guess why. What's your first guess why her foster home would be unsafe? Turned in her serial killer mother. Maybe a wild guess that it has something to do with the serial killer mother? Okay, she turns in, her mother's a serial killer, first of all. That's statistically non-existent. She turns her into the police. Second of all, that would never work. She goes into foster home under an assumed identity. That also would never work. Because and of course she has no other relatives. She has to go into the system. And she is split in two, Gollum style. And she's not safe. Name me one detail of that, one small part of that would ever, even remotely happen in real life. And since there isn't any, then why don't we have space aliens? Why can't she teleport at will? What is this if it has nothing like that? If you read a Raymond Chandler novel, it's true, there are contrivances to get the whole thing in motion, but when he interviews a widow who's grieving for her husband but also kind of didn't like him, you absolutely believe in that character. You have met people like that. let's, let's move on, shall we? We're getting. Did I mention this ends in 2 boxes, not 1 but 2? Maybe they will. Maybe they will redeem what's going on here. She's not safe in her foster home, under assumed identity in a new state. In other words, practically untraceable. But I wonder if somebody traces her. All right. This next one is also a novel. It's The House by the River by Lena Manta, translated by Gail Holst Warhoff. A very nice cover. Like branches, her daughters grew apart, but their root remained the same. The trunk of the tree is also what branches have in common. Not just the root of the tree. This first novel by acclaimed Greek writer Lena Manta. Why is she acclaimed? This is her first novel. She's done short stories. Those of you who are in Greece, do you know this person? Lena Manta? To appear in English translation. The first one to appear in English translation. Okay, so she's done others. The House by the River is an intimate, emotionally powerful saga following 5 young women as they realize that no matter the men they choose, the careers they pursue, or the children they raise, the only constant is home. Okay, and then the whole rest of the back, 2/3, is her biography of the author. So this comes out in a paperback original in November. That's good. So this is going to be $15 for this huge thing, for a foreign author in translation. So that's not bad. The bad news is it's by Amazon. It's published by Amazon, so you won't find it at a bookstore. The bookstore, if you're in America, the bookstore you'll go to will be someone who Amazon is trying to kill. So you'll have to go to you either have to buy it on Amazon, which is the way you'll do it, or you'll have to go to one of the Amazon bookstores. Have you seen the reaction that the Amazon bookstores have been getting in the press because they're such soulless places? They're such horrible shopping experiences. It's kind of satisfying in a way that to realize that they wouldn't have any idea how to do the human element of book selling, because they never have. It's the one thing they've actually built their success on, not doing that element, on eliminating it. So now they make a physical bookstore and staff it with, I don't know, soulless golems of soulless clones of actual bookstore clerks. And it's all about which books are selling well on Amazon. That's how they're ranked. That's how the signage runs. The pictures I've seen are very dispiriting. And this book you could buy there if you live near an Amazon store. But I don't know if it's any good. I can't recommend it until I read it, so I'll report back. Then we have the first box. Let's see what this is. These boxes have a lot of weight to cover because this has been a disastrous mail haul. a humid mail haul in every way. This is 2 books. Oh, great. Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. This is not new. I actually requested this from this is New York University Press, and they have a bunch. They sent me their catalog for their forthcoming stuff, and a lot of interesting stuff in there. But they also, the catalog, the request sheet also had a space for anything in the back catalog that he wanted to request, and I got these and sent them to a freelancer who swore up and down that he wanted to review them. And he not only never reviewed them, but he never got back to me, disappeared off the face of the earth, went into witness protection, where he now argues good freelancer and bad freelancer with himself. This is an Arabic masterpiece, an enormous War and Peace level Arabic masterpiece that is translated here by Humphrey Davies as Leg Over Leg. And it's in 2 volumes. And before I sent it to that freelancer, I read it. It's by, I'm not going to do this well. It's by Ahmed Faris al-Shidak. Let me read you a bit of it. It truly was great. It pulled me right in. Leg Over Leg recounts the life of the Fariyak, alter ego of the author, a pivotal figure in the intellectual and literary history of modern Arab world. His edifying and hilarious adventures as he moves through his native Lebanon to Egypt, Malta, Tunis, England, and France provide the author with the grist for wide-ranging discussion about the social issues of his time, including freedom of conscience, women's rights, sexual relationships, and the manners and customs of Europeans and Middle Easterns, and the difference between the European and the Arabic literatures. In this book, this is the second half of Leg Over Leg, the battle of the sexes rages as the Faryak and his new wife debate the significance of such topics as buttocks, the unreliability of virginity tests, and the human capacities for self-delusion, all against the background of travel through Europe. This is a new translation by Humphrey Davies, and I love the faded covers. They're very evocative because you've got the one volume has the purely Arabic connotations, and the other has the Arabic affectation of European connotations. And the element in the description that isn't stressed enough, at least for me, the way I was reading it, was the bit about literature. The character's adventures and his thoughts are suffused with literature, Arabic and Western, and it's just. I loved it. I'm glad to have it now, and I will not be sending it to a feckless, semi-imaginary freelancer. Then we have the last box here. What is this? Feels light, so it's not a big doorstop that Steve would like. Oh, all right. It's another novel. So am I right that this is a clean sweep? No, the Abu Dhabi Bar Mitzvah. Otherwise, a clean sweep of made-up stories. So this is Afterlife by Marcus Saki, who looks like that. This is a finished copy, soon to be a major motion picture, the cover tells me. Packing list that's stuck together because of the humidity. From the author of the million-copy best-selling Brilliance trilogy comes a mind-bending new thriller about life, death, and what happens after. A terrorist has paralyzed Chicago, targeting civilians with brutal swiftness and precision. FBI agent Will Brody will do anything to catch him, but this time he's the hunted, not the hunter. Lured into a trap, Brody is caught in a furious explosion that claims his life. But in Afterlife, death is only the beginning. Brody finds himself wandering a different Chicago, a real city in every detail, but seemingly empty. Buildings are dark, cars lay abandoned, no planes cross the sky. He's relieved to spot other people until he sees they're carrying machetes. It turns out the afterlife is a dangerous place. This echo of Chicago is populated only by those who died abruptly, violently, and with an abundance of life force remaining. For some, it's a new life in death. Okay, so he's on the trail of a killer when he dies and comes back to life in a Chicago that is a soulless shell of a city full of murderous individuals. I've been to Chicago many times. I guess I've died. That was exactly the place I encountered. All right, so Afterlife, science fiction thriller of some kind. Then Leg Over Leg in 2 volumes, an Arabic classic. Then The House by the River. Good Me, Bad Me, which I don't know, I could like it or maybe I'll hate it. I'm kind of torn. Fierce Kingdom, woman and her kid trapped in a zoo. Still Christianity. The Abu Dhabi Bar Mitzvah. And Outside is the Ocean from the University of Iowa Press. Entirely made up stories. As if the humidity wasn't bad enough. So I'll sign off now, and I will hope for better weather in every conceivable sense. Thank you, Book 2.